So you gave this a 7, but
I did.
But you gave the new Predator movie, Prey, a 6.
Yes.
What a dummy.
It's not as much. It's not as much fun.
What a dummy.
I mean,
Come on, Mark.
I watched Prey, and I was actually dreading it when it spun up, because I thought I loved the first movie, and if no one's listening, which unfortunately they are at this precise time, I would say I really love the second movie. And I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like it's one of those real guilty pleasures, but I probably watched the second movie almost as much times as the first one, and would default to putting it on because in my mind I feel like I haven't watched it as much, or I'm as familiar with it as the first one. It's also got the benefit of being immensely funny when it's not entertaining, whereas the first one is a bit funny, but it's mostly a serious kind of action sci-fi thriller, macho everything. But the second one is frequently unintentionally funny. There are bits in it you can't help but laugh at Danny Glover and his birds problem. You can't help but laugh at the things in it that they want to take so seriously. Is Danny Glover and his trousers problem. A lot of it is Danny Glover's problem, but I mean it's very entertaining. So
Bill Paxton and his sweaty suit.
Bill Paxton.
Never known anyone who sweats through into a suit jacket. That's proper sweat.
It is. He should give The Rock some lessons. But yes, I mean it's a lot of fun. I'm not sure I've ever thought of any of the other attempts, AVP, even Predators, as being in the same realm as those first two movies me.
Oh no, not even close. And
yeah,
when the trailer for Prey hit,
yes,
it was like a bolt from the blue. It was like, oh yeah, a Predator movie.
Yeah, it was. It was like they haven't done this in a minute.
And then watching it, I felt the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, they've made a Predator movie.
It can be done.
Can you imagine?
It was the strangest thing watching, the Predator stalk his way through and get his feel for the environment, watching them develop these protagonists who you just couldn't figure how they could face off against a predator, and seeing it all put together. I mean, it owes a lot to the first movie for sure, but in a way that I think really worked. And I had a really good ride. And just when I thought it was over, which was about 45 minutes in, and I thought, right, this is the solo finale that it was building towards. It had a whole kind of middle act, which had one of my favorite sequences in the whole movie, with the Predator doing his thing with a whole bunch of people which he could do it to. And it was very nicely shot, very nicely choreographed. And it was something that I don't think I'd seen before from any of the Predator movies, let alone the two that I hold in great esteem. This doesn't have the humor, and it doesn't have the macho of the first one, but it's a different era. And I think that I have a lot of time for what it's done for the franchise, which for me is shown they can do a Predator movie. And if they want to, they don't have to do any more in this era at all. They can do another era. I mean, we talked on the chat, they talked about one with samurai. They could easily do that. They could do one wherever they wanted to do it. And this movie has shown that you don't have to run out of ideas in Predator movies or turn to like Shane Black to do one about autism. I mean, it's just a good back to basics Predator movie, and I'm really chuffed that the future is open again.
I think if I was gonna make any like criticisms of it, they would definitely be that you're right that it was shot really nicely, and it was shot nicely enough to hide mostly how kind of without denigrating it too much, how cheap it looked. I think. Yes, I think. It was definitely shot sort of within its means.
Well, they blew so much money on the last one.
Yeah,
They were never, they had reshoots on the last one.
Yeah.
It was an incoherent mess. They had to reshoot the ending, which, as we've discussed on Bullet Train, is often the most expensive part of a movie. I can't imagine them wanting to throw much money at this. And when people talk about how they should have released it with them all speaking Comanche rather than just a dub of Comanche, it was never going to happen. It was literally never going to happen.
It was entertaining to see people posit that there might be a world where that would have happened.
That would happen, yeah. I mean, maybe 20 years ago with Mel Gibson directing, but things have changed.
Man, put a Predator in Apocalypto. I'm on board with
exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy it's back, and I think that we should gang up against Mark and make him rewatch it in the dubbed Comanche version.
It was great fun. It was just a good Predator movie, and that is the first time that you can say that in decades.
It is decades, yeah.
So, yeah, I was well on board with it. Well on board.